This is the commentary version of my no damage Energizer walkthrough of Outlast. The non-commentary version can be found in the description. The Energizer achievement is exclusive to the Xbox version of the game and requires the player to beat the game without reloading the camera battery whilst playing on the game's permadeath difficulty, Insane Mode. Furthermore, the walkthrough also meets the requirements for all achievements and/or trophies available on the PC and PlayStation versions of the game. Unfortunately, not all achievements can be unlocked in a single walkthrough when playing on the Xbox version. I'll elaborate soon.
Seems the Arab battle park services will be spraying for an infestation of box helmet.
Here is where we obtain our first missable collectible, and it's a note. These can be obtained by recording specific events or locations. Just flip the camera up when it's necessary to do so in order to collect all of them. Looking back, it might have been a better idea to look at them as I get them, but at the time I thought it may be better to just show them all at the end of the game as to not ruin the pacing of the walkthrough. Moreover, there may be people who watch the video and don't care about reading the collectibles or even collecting them in the first place. However, if it's something that matters to you, there will be a timestamp in the description for when I go over all of them. You'll have ample time to pause the video and read them. Alternatively, if the collectibles aren't something you care about, there is also a timestamp to skip over the section of the video where I showcase them. Dip into this room here to collect our second document. Ignore the first room as it only has a battery in it, which of course has no value in an Energizer walkthrough. So there's another note in just a moment. Be ready to record it, but make sure not to turn your night vision on, as saving battery is essential for the sake of unlocking the Energizer achievement.
They killed us. You got out. The variants. You can't fight them. You have to hide. You can unlock the main doors from security control.
So this is our first time seeing Chris Walker, and contrary to what you may think, he's unable to spot you and kill you here, so it's not necessary to sneak past him.
And who are you, then? I see. Merciful God, you have sent me an apostle. Guard your life, son. You have a calling.
So our next plan of action is to get the security key card, but before that, we want to go behind the reception desk and pick up our next document. And another document here. Record these patients here to get another note. So, of course, that damage is unavoidable and isn't counted for the purposes of a no damage walkthrough. There are other instances in the game where that's the case as well. So ignore the patient running down the hall here. Like Chris earlier, he can't spot or attack you. Instead, go into the bathroom and into the middle stall to get another note. Then go down the hall and into the room here at the end and grab our next document before going into the security room. So, of course, as soon as you're able to move, go straight to the locker and hide in it because Chris is about to be in the room. You can hide in any locker. Pull your camera up because there's another note here, which brings me to my next point. So, to elaborate on what I said earlier, there are two achievements exclusive to the Xbox version of the game. There's the Energizer achievement, which was explained earlier, and then there's the Claustrophobe achievement, which requires the player to beat the game on insane difficulty without hiding in a locker or under a bed. Unfortunately, gathering all 62 collectibles whilst also going for this achievement is impossible. So I decided to prioritize gathering all collectibles since there are already numerous Claustrophobe achievement guides to watch. Now, as soon as he makes his way down the hall here, I leave the locker and make a break for it. Alternatively, you can wait for him to leave the premises before getting out of the locker, which of course is safer but takes more time. Make sure you head straight down to the now unlocked basement and of course don't let him catch up to you. Grab this document here. Once you squeeze through that gap, he can't follow you anymore. This is a reoccurring mechanic throughout the game for those who don't know. Now for the first unmissable encounter of the game, move to the right of that glowing panel and forward. Climb up the railing and open the door here, but don't press the button in there yet. First go into the room adjacent to it. There's a small desk you need to climb over. Hit the button before returning to the room of the door we just opened. Close the door from inside, hit the button, and then hide in the locker closest to the door and wait. Eventually, the patient will start breaking down the door, and you just have to wait. It'll take him 6 hits to break down the door. This applies to all other patients that aren't Chris. Chris only takes 3 hits. So, when he gets in and walks to about this point, get out of the locker and make a break for it. If you get out at the right time and don't stall, he won't see you. Head for the illuminated doorway and head down and then to the left. Hug the wall to stay on track. If it wasn't already obvious, you're going to want to have the gamma all the way up in the game settings and your monitor settings at their brightest if you want the Energizer achievement. Close the door behind you, hit the switch, and then cam next to the door and wait. When he starts breaking down the door, brace yourself because this next part can be a bit tough, especially if you're challenging yourself to not take any damage. So as soon as he breaks down the door, slip past him and run back the way you came. Remember to vault over the desks when you notice you've collided with them. Make your way back to the main panel. Like I said, remember to hug the walls just to not get turned around or lost. Hit the button and then do a 180 and climb up back the way you came. If you're lucky, he may have even lost you by now. If not, you'll have just enough time to get up before he catches up to you. You should have no trouble making your way back through the gap once your area is illuminated again. Return to the security room and the administration block chapter is complete.
I'm sorry, my son. I didn't want to have to do this to you. But you can't leave. Not yet. There is so much yet for you to witness. Will you see it?
can you? Our Lord, the Wall Rider, tearing his truth into the unbelievers. The only way out of this place is the truth. Accept the gospel, and all doors will open before you.
As soon as you're able to move again, flip the camera up and you'll get another note. Then just wait for the door in front of you to open. It's possible to jump off the railing here, so you don't have to make your way down the long way. You won't take damage. Open the door that's directly in front of you when you land and squeeze through the gap in the wall. Go left and climb once you collide. Pull the camera up and wait. You'll get another note for recording this, even if your night vision isn't on. Contrary to what a lot of first-time players seem to believe, just having the camera up like that doesn't waste any battery. It's only the night vision that does. So strafe across here and make sure not to press the crouch button or you'll drop down and have to make your way back up again. Alternatively, you can look behind you whilst running across to expedite the strafing process, but that of course is an exploit and so I don't use it for this kind of video. Make sure not to drop down the hole before grabbing the document off to the left first. So up ahead there's a blind man here killing a security guard. Don't get too close to him or he'll hit you and you'll take damage. Instead, run past him and up to this door. Open the door and wait a few seconds so that you're spotted by the patient. Once spotted, run back the way you came. Get into the room and close the door behind you before hiding under the bed. So eventually he'll leave the room and you want to wait and listen. Once you hear a metal sounding noise, he's left the premises and you're free to return to the security room. Once you hit the button, return back the way you came, but stop once you see the blind patient we ignored earlier. Lure him back to the security room and stand behind the small desk and wait. Once he's in the room, wait until he gets to about this point before jumping over the desk and leaving the room before heading back the way you came again. He won't catch up to you. Before continuing on, jump into the security room and grab the document on the desk. When running down the hall, flip your camera up and record Chris decapitating a guard. You'll get another note. Once you're in the shower area, one of the twins will start pursuing you from where you entered. As long as you're running, he won't catch up to you. Jump out the second window, but be quick about it. The second twin will be at the other end of the hall. Strafe across until you get to another open window. Climb back in and strafe to the right whilst hugging the fencing, and then run to the end of the short hall, and the encounter will be over. Once you exit the showers, go off into the room on the right to grab another document. Fully open the door here before entering the security room. Once you hit the button, the two exit doors will lock. Chris will start making his way into the room. Climb to the vent on the ceiling to escape the room once the vent opens. Once you drop down, you better start moving because Chris will soon follow by breaking one of the security room doors down. So once Miles gets up, run off to the left, vault over the obstruction, and once you get near the top of the stairs, Chris will enter the area. Turn right and climb over the railing. Going the alternate way will get you killed. Make your way to the end of the hall, then right again, and you'll reach an illuminated area. Like I said earlier, gaps are a reoccurring mechanic in the game to symbolise when an encounter is over or beginning.
What's the experiment? The dead will perform on the living. It's still happening.
Once you make it over the gap, dip into the cell on the left and grab another document. I got a bit stuck here, as you can see. Once you make your way up the stairs, try to make it to the other side quick if you hope to not take any damage or die, as you're now being followed by a patient. Once you start strafing, however, he'll forget about you. Again, refrain from pressing the crouch button when strafing, or you'll drop down and have to make your way up again. Be careful here, you can die if you fall. After dropping down, head right and record the word Wall Rider on the locker here to get another note. Make your way down into the sewers and hug the walls if you're struggling to find your way down without using your night vision. Make your way through this pipe, and that's the prison block chapter completed. Before going down the beaten path, go off to the left here and around to grab another document before progressing as normal. Squeeze through the gap here and continue forward. We're going to have to flush the water in order to progress by turning two valves. When Chris drops down, run off to the right and you shouldn't see it. Make your way down and off to the right again and into the small room here. Close the door behind you here and then turn the valve. Then hide against the wall behind the shelving here and wait. He'll start breaking down the door, and once he does, wait. Once the door is broken down, he'll stall for a bit before going off to his left, and you'll be able to sneak past him unnoticed and unscathed. Once in the main area again, go off into the dark hallway and to the left once you get to the end of it. Then go off to the right again, twice, before squeezing through another gap. Go into the small room here and turn the second valve. Crouch and get into this tube pipe sort of thing and make your way forward until Chris appears. Now try to make as much sound in the tube as you can, and if you're successfully able to, unlike me, he'll go off to the right and you can run past him. If you're not able to, then you can just follow what I do here. So just stay behind him, but keep your distance so he doesn't hear you. He'll spot you, but you'll be fast enough to make your way to the ladder, and once you get on it, he'll forget about you. Climb down the ladder, and once you're 21 bars down, you'll be able to just drop off it by pressing the crouch button. Go to the right and then left. Keep forward whilst hugging the walls. Go off to the right again and vault once you collide with an obstruction. Stay on the left so you don't get sprayed with gas from the broken pipe on the right. Continue forward and vault once again and then up the ladder. It's okay to flicker your night vision on and off here if you get lost or turned around. Just don't keep it on. Once in this room, pull out the camera and record the man talking here, and you'll get another note once he stops.
You'll know it's real. The doctor's dead. You know that, right? Dr. Wernicke died before he even started working here. What kind of experiments does a dead doctor perform on living patients? That's the question.
So once on the ladder, it's safe to drop down. Just don't jump off from the very top or you'll die. Make your way through the tubes by hugging the walls as usual. Get off to the right here and then you're out. Go through the door ahead and then off to the left before dropping into the water. Go forward a bit and then climb up before dropping into the water again. Look toward the water and find the set of stairs. Run up them and then go right twice and run forward until you drop into more water. For the record, bunny hopping whilst in the water is much faster than wading through it. Climb up here and you should have no trouble getting into the illuminated room ahead to grab our next document. When making your way back, stop just outside the doorway and go off to the right instead of going forward straight away, as there's a downward staircase in front of you. Drop into the water and continue on into the next area. So this area can be especially tough to navigate through as it's completely dark and you're submerged in water. Not to mention that Chris will be in here looking for you. So you just want to head right and hug the walls while bunny hopping. Of course, changing directions when you hit a wall. It's imperative that you hug the walls whilst moving along in order to not get seen. Then once you see an opening in the roof, continue bunny hopping until you're almost across from it. Chris is close, but if you have some sense of urgency, he won't see you. Bunny hop toward the opening and find a place to pull yourself up. Chris will see you, but you'll be fast enough to escape. Do a 180-degree turn and jump onto the ladder and climb up to finish the encounter. That encounter is easier than it looks, just follow my instructions. Now the next part is hardly an encounter. When you enter this hall, you'll be locked in once the patient at the end sees you. Let him approach you and kind of bait him into taking a strike at you. Do this maybe 1 or 2 more times if he doesn't run away the first time. Keep your distance from him once he runs away, just to be safe. As for the previous encounter, there is a faster way to finish it by bunny hopping until you get to the flight of stairs that leads to the ladder. This is risky, however, so for the sake of guiding, I decided to do it the safer way. There's likely little point in mentioning this, but don't try to return through this gap once you're through, or you'll start taking damage and die. Before going up the flight of stairs on the right, go over here and pull up your camera to get our next note. And that's the end of the sewer chapter. After opening this door, go off to the left into a small room where we'll get our next note. Just record the writing on the wall and you'll get it. You don't even need to use your night vision. After that, make your way down the hall. Don't worry about that banging sound, it's there just to scare first time players. As soon as you start pushing the barricade, it'll stop. There's an open vent in this room that you'll need to climb into to progress. Before doing so, grab the document at the back of the room. So as soon as you drop down from the van, you're going to want to get moving. Push the barricade before the patients break into the room. Open the door and run into the room ahead, and then close the door behind you. If you're really not confident, you can barricade the door before continuing, but it really isn't necessary. You'll have enough time to move the barricade out of the way before they break down the door. Then out of the room and off to the left. Don't go right, they'll be chasing from that way too. I believe there are 4 patients you'll be being pursued by in this encounter. Climb up into the van, and they of course can't follow through there, so they'll have to go another way. Drop down and off to the left again, and now they'll be coming from the right. Vault over the small desk here, and then off to the left, left again, and then dead ahead. Brace yourself for this jump here, run to the end of the board and jump across, and you'll make it. We're not through just yet, though you can take a moment to relax if needed. Once you're halfway down this hall, they'll break the door we just passed and continue chasing you. Go right and climb up. Please don't try to open the door as it's locked. Make your way to the dumbwaiter room and close the door behind you. As far as I'm aware, avoiding damage without closing the door here is impossible. Wait for the dumbwaiter to come down and get inside as soon as possible to finish the encounter.
Quick, get in the dumbwaiter if you want to live. God damn it!
You made the right choice here, buddy. Hey, you're that bullshit priest's guy, aren't you? His witness or whatever. You must be exhausted. Well, let's take a break, huh, buddy? The old 2-martini lunch? Have a little confab, blah, blah. Heavier than you look. A little cardio wouldn't kill you. Okay, here we go, arms and legs inside the car at all times. You know, I love the mountain air up here at night. You want to head out and take a stroll? Go ahead, I'll wait here. Go on, run free. I'm in no hurry. No? All right. Nose to the grindstone, I like that. Okay then, right this way. I'm not putting that tongue to any use anyway. Truth be told, I was just tired of licking my own stairs. Here we are then. Thanks so much for coming by. We'll begin your consultation in a moment. It'll just need a second to wash up and, movies. And it'll give us a chance to talk. You know, I'm a bit worried how much time you've been spending with Father Martin. I hope you haven't been letting him confuse you with all this holier-than-thou Bible thumping. No offense to the man, but I sometimes worry he might just be a little bit crazy. It's understandable. I mean, people get scared. There's like to turn to God as anything else. And God died with the gold standard. We're on to a more concrete faith now. You have to rob Paul to pay Peter. There's no other way. Murder is the simplest form, but what happens when all money is gone? Well, money becomes a matter of faith. And that's what I'm here for. To make you believe. You paying attention? Don't pass that on me. There's still a lot for you to absorb. There. It's better now, right? You understand what we achieved here? We made the consumer into the means of production. This thing is gonna sell itself.
Get to the back of the room and hide under the bed here. Pull the camera up and wait. Don't waste too much time doing this, as Trigger will be back in the room after the man in the bed finishes talking.
Just like him. Like Trigger. He got the gene and he's still alive. Still just Renegades Lakers. He worked so well. They couldn't control it. And you can't control it. Nobody. He'll find you. He'll kill you. He's coming now. Trigger!
I see what's happening. You're bored. You want a little attention. Perfectly understandable. I'm here for you. I'll give you very special attention.
After that, you'll get another note as long as you are recording the man's death. Trigger will return to the operating room, and this is your chance to run past him and out of the room. If you're not confident enough, you can instead bait him into being kited around the bed that the patient was on, and then leave that way. He should stop chasing you once you're in the elevator room, but just to be safe, climb into the vent to end the encounter for the moment. There is of course an elevator in the room, but we don't have the key for it yet. push this barricade out of the way. It'll be important soon, as this door leads right back into the elevator room. Open the door and run halfway down the hall until Trigger appears. Get his attention and then kite him around as I demonstrate. Wait here until he approaches before closing the door. This is to ensure he starts barging down the door here instead of running all the way around and flanking. Then push the barricade at the end of the hall here out of the way, and that's the harder part done. Make your way down the hall and into the vent at the very end. After dropping down, go into the stall on the far right and grab our next document. Now, as soon as you grab the key for the elevator, Trigger will start breaking down the door to the left. While he does so, go back the way you came and hide over to the right here and wait for him. Once he's far enough away, run back and through the now clear doorway to return to the hall we were in earlier. If he sees you, don't worry, you'll be more than fast enough to get back to the elevator as long as you push the barricade out of the way earlier. Again, he shouldn't follow you into the elevator room.
I'm not giving up on you.
So after that, pull the camera up in front of him to get another note before continuing on. Go off to the left here and then right. There's another room down the hall, but nothing of note is in there. Go to the back of the locker room here to grab another document. Again, there's nothing of note ahead, so just climb onto the table here and out of the window. There's a man in the room sitting on a table. When he starts talking to you, record him to get another note, and assuming you haven't missed any, that marks half of the collectibles in the game. On to other matters, you won't be able to run in this room, so bunny hopping will be the fastest way to traverse through it. Though, I wouldn't advise doing that because you may accidentally take damage from the fire. So if you're trying to avoid taking damage here like I am, you should probably just walk it. Once you make your way back inside, go off to the right here into the dark area to get another document before squeezing through the gap and beginning the next encounter with Chris shortly thereafter. There's a room up ahead that we're going to have to ignore for now. There's a button in there that turns on the sprinklers, but there's no water in the system, so we're going to have to pull 2 switches before returning to it. Chris is going to spawn at the end of the hall here, so go off to the right and he won't see you. Enter the laundry room and find the first switch. Then we're going to go back to the doorway, just outside, and wait for him. When he sees you, run back behind the shelving here and wait for him to follow you around one way before carting him around going the opposite way. It's very important to be patient here, as to not make him do a shortcut, which results in you dying. He might lose you, as you did with me here, but even if he doesn't, you'll be more than fast enough to get to the gap I'm heading to and end the encounter for the moment. Pull the second switch here and then return back the way you came. Now, when making your way back, Chris will always be standing across from the doorway on the right, so wait there for a second or two before running back around. Don't cut through the room, just go the long way around. Doing this, as well as waiting in the doorway for a moment as I did, is important to prevent Chris from making shortcuts and killing you. Hit the sprinkler button and make your way back through the gap. He may have lost you by now, but even if he hasn't, you'll once again be more than fast enough to make it back through the gap and end the encounter. Head for the now clear doorway to get into the kitchen. Go off to the left and into the small room here to record the bowl of fingers on the table in order to get our next note. And that ends the mail ward chapter. Now, before going outside, grab the document off to the right here. Once outside, head for the illuminated doorway off to the left to get the shed key, which will be important in a moment. This chapter is by far the hardest to navigate through without night vision, so always look for the light and wait for lightning strikes to keep you from getting lost. Look for the fountain in the middle of the area here and head north of it along the path. Head toward the lamppost until you get to a staircase with our next document atop it. The documents are illuminated too, of course, so you shouldn't miss it. Return back to the fountain and head for the light off to the far left. Ignore the sounds and anything you see whilst doing so, as it's only there to scare you for now. Unlock the shed door, open it, and go off to the right once fully inside. Head straight for the door ahead, open it for a moment. The wall rider will appear, so close the door and run back, though it's not necessary to unless you're doing a no damage walkthrough like I was here. The wall rider won't follow you back into the light either. In fact, it's actually unable to kill you for now, so if you don't care about taking damage, don't even bother running back into the light. Just tank the hit from it and it'll fly away. I waited here for longer than I should have out of paranoia of taking damage, but it really isn't that serious. Now return back the way you were headed and you'll now be outside again. Pull the camera up once outside and wait a moment. You'll get another note. Now head for the light off to the left and climb up the ladder here. Run along the roof here whilst flickering your night vision on and off so you keep in a straight line and don't fall. Jump over the gap here, of course, keep your night vision on for a moment, hop over to this ledge and then onto the roof, and then start flickering the night vision on and off again. Then strafe across here. Keep the night vision on again here for a moment whilst you make the jump onto the roof. Drop down here, try to land on this box just in case you do a bad jump and end up taking damage. Climb up onto these boxes and over into the next area. It might look difficult to navigate in the dark, but just use the lightning to keep yourself situated. You can even use the night vision in short bursts if needed, but I don't recommend overusing it. Run in a straight line here and eventually you'll reach a wall. Turn right and up the stairs whilst flickering your night vision again, but in short bursts this time. Vault over the broken fencing here and into another encounter with Chris. Head northeast from where you landed after vaulting. You'll likely see Chris on the bridge, but either run around him if you have the space or kite him around the bridge before climbing up and out. Then just strafe along here and keep your night vision off for the moment. Start flickering the night vision again here until you get past the barbed wire fence, and then drop down using the crouch button. You should make it a point not to drop down with the jump button, as to not take damage. Head north from where you drop down until you reach a wall, and then head to the left. Chris will spawn, and another encounter with him will begin. As soon as that happens, do a 180 turn and start guiding him around the obstruction in the middle of the area, and you'll get back to where you were, with Chris now behind you. Just running at normal pace will do the trick. No stopping and waiting is required. When you see the light, turn your night vision off and head for it, and you'll be able to finish the encounter with ample space between you and Chris. Don't bother with those doors over there, of course. Instead, head right and record the blood fountain here to get another note. Then head toward the window here and climb up and in. That marks the end of the Courtyard chapter. You should have a little more than half your battery left at this point in the game. Head left of the fallen planks here, and then left again. Run down the hall, vault over here, and go right. The barging you hear means nothing. Stop halfway down the hall here and head left. Squeeze through the gap here and climb onto the table and into the laundry room. Pull the camera out and record the machine here to get another note. Head through here and leave the room before heading right. There's another document at the end of the hall, at the bottom of the stairwell. Nothing else important is in this corridor. Head back toward the laundry room and past it until you reach a barred door with a patient behind it. Once again, having your gamma all the way up and your screen brightness settings as saturated as possible is important if you're going for the Energizer achievement. Head left here, of course, and record the dead patient in the elevator shaft to get another note, before heading downstairs here into the small basement for another document. The reason I flicker the night vision on and off here is because there's a patient facing the wall in here that will kill you if you approach him. So I wanted to make sure I always knew how much distance there was between me and him, so I didn't get myself killed. Go back upstairs and continue on. Don't rush this jump here, failing it will result in damage. Open this door here and head left. Head towards Father Martin's flashlight and then left again. Get to the end of the hallway here and vault over. So our objective at the moment is to get a key to access the upper floors, and that key is in the laundry chute. The only way to open the laundry chute, however, is to find 3 fuses, so that's our next course of action. Don't close the door here as I did, it's not necessary. Grab the first fuse here and head back to the doorway. There'll be a patient at the end of the hallway, so just try to get his attention. We're going to bait him over before closing the door on him. Once he starts breaking down the door, camp next to it and wait. Remember, it takes 6 barges. Once he's in, run past him and back into the chute room. Just be quick as he's not far behind. Head this way whilst flickering the night vision again as to prevent clipping yourself on anything. Once in the corridor with rooms on both your far left and right, head toward the door on the left, get inside of the room and close the door behind you. Don't panic, the patient in here is friendly. Grab the fuse, then camp next to the door again and wait. Slip past him and now run toward the doorway in the opposite direction. There's no need to flicker the night vision here, just follow the light and vault when needed. Close the door once inside and grab the last fuse before camping next to the door and waiting again. Slip past him again and make your way back to the chute room. Remember to close all doors behind you when returning too. I like to flicker the night vision again here until there's a closed door put in the path of the patient, just so I don't get turned around or fumble while he's right behind me. Put all 3 fuses in and hit the button. Don't wait for the key here, it'll always fall down the chute no matter what. So now we're going to leave, and once you vault over here, he'll stop following you. Remember that. We're going to go back to the laundry room downstairs to grab the key so we can get to the upper floors. Head down this hallway again and then right, and you'll end up in the laundry room if you hug the wall. Grab the key and head back the way you came. There'll be a patient opening the locked door at the end of the hall to chase after you, but you'll be more than fast enough to get away. He'll forget about you as soon as you make a bit of distance. Strafe along here and make sure not to drop down, or you'll land where you were earlier during the fuse section and risk getting attacked by the patrolling patient. Just line yourself up at the ledge and jump over. Once in this area, you'll inevitably fall through the floor unless you use a glitch jump. Just find your way back up by climbing up the stacked bed frames and continue on. Once you barge open this door, head to the end of the room on the far left to grab our next document. It's an easy one to forget. You should be able to find it. They do illuminate after all. Head toward the doorway and head right once you see the wall rider. He won't attack you at this point in the game. Get into the room with the candles and record the writing on the wall to get another note. Head toward these double doors and start flickering the night vision sparingly just so you don't carelessly walk right into the twins here. Stay on the right side of the room to avoid them, and leave the room using the doorway on the far right. Strafe along here. Don't panic about dropping down, you won't take damage, and you can climb up really easily. So after that, we're going to have to go back down and get the camera in order to progress. The game will prevent you from continuing without it. They seem to have purposely made the game brighter here, so it's easy to retrieve the camera, so don't worry about getting lost. So after picking the camera back up, 4 enemies will spawn to the left of you, but they take 3 to 5 seconds give or take to start chasing you. So just turn your night vision off as soon as you've moved around the table that the camera was on. Now just return back the way you came. As long as you don't stop, you'll be more than fast enough to return back to the bathroom and climb out. You'll now be able to get back up by simply climbing, as the ledge is hanging low now. Go left once you get up, and turn the night vision on for just a moment here in order to make the small jump. There's no harm in failing the jump, you can just get back up using the stairwell if you fall. Here, walk into the broken floor for just a moment, and then move back up before making your way down using the parts of broken flooring to the left. Make sure not to fall all the way down though, or it's game over.
Only one way out. Only one way. How do you know you're not patient?
That's the female ward chapter complete. Chris will appear at the end of this hall here, but just run down it and enter the third room on the left and climb into the open vent in there. Deviate from the beaten path here and go right. Drop into this room here to get another document before going back onto the beaten path. Dip into the library to grab another document before moving on.
Yes, I was supposed to tell you. The key to the house is gone.
Do a 180 and pull your camera up after dropping down into the theatre. As long as you stay here, you'll eventually get another note.
December 27th, 1985 in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Clearance Sierra Alpha. Subject Dr. Rudolph Wernicke, 14866.
The films are real.
There was no alteration to the footage at all? No trickery?
None.
In June of 1943, you recorded 3 instances of spontaneous bleeding. Half a dozen test subjects began to develop brain tumors.
Yes. The autopsies revealed that the tumors were pure lead.
It killed them? Can you explain why the results could not be reproduced in the United States?
I have my theories. My homeland in those years. It's impossible to understand the things we felt, what we believed. The overwhelming fear, ecstatic rage, and English words are insufficient. More than hope. The human mind in that environment is capable of extraordinary things.
You're saying the experiment needed...
A proximity to death, to overwhelming madness. Only a test.
I thought I should mention, the crack in the camera screen and the random static can be disabled on the PC version of the game by putting effects at the lowest setting in the options menu. Grab another document here and head up the stairs behind you. After that, go back into the previous room and there'll be another path now available. Go through and strafe along here. Jump over onto this little balcony and grab the key on the table. We can now get upstairs. Climb over the railing and drop down. One of the twins is now going to start barging through the door on the left here, so we're going to camp next to it and wait. Run past him and up the stairs. He won't follow. If you're not confident enough to use my strategy, you can kite him around something in the theatre instead. Or just wait for him to walk to the end of the room whilst waiting out of his line of sight. It's just that this way is quicker. Dip into this room and record the praying man to get another note. The second room on the left is your path of progression, but the third room on the right has another document inside. Don't worry about accidentally pressing the crouch button here. You will be unable to drop down anyway. Get into the chapel here and record Father Martin on the cross, and you'll eventually get the next note. Unfortunately, you can't just skip this scene. You have to wait for him to finish waffling before you can go.
Am I ready? You are. We will join the Wall Rider in just a moment. My Job, you alone shall escape the Calvin. This is your penultimate act of witness. The promise of the prophets was always freedom from death. And here it is. You will watch and record my death, my resurrection. And together we will be free. You are no longer in any danger. I fixed the elevator. It will take you to freedom. We will all of us be free. Now, my son.
Once you drop down, Chris will appear at the end of the hall and start pursuing you. Make him follow you down the corridor and then go into the room at the far end. The doorway passing now is also an entrance to the same room, so we're going to use that to our advantage. Enter through the door at the end and wait. He should start breaking down one of the doors, and when that happens, wait at the opposite one with the door open. When he gets in, wait a moment before carting him around and making your way back down the corridor and to the right. The reason I say to wait a bit before kiting him is so he doesn't do a shortcut and kill you. Go through this doorway and move around the tables. Make your way to the open vent and climb up and drop down to finish the encounter. And that's the return to the administration block chapter complete. Pull the camera out as soon as you open these doors to get another note, then go behind the reception desk to get another document. For the record, you should have just more than enough battery for the remainder of the game. Even having less than what I have here isn't bad. Go into this room here to get another document. There's only a few collectibles left now. Go into the small room here and record the whiteboard to get another note. As soon as the alarms go off here, back the way you came. The Wall Rider will now be chasing after you. Don't stop running. So we get another note from that, but unfortunately the game makes Miles use your night vision during the sequence, which wastes a bit of battery. It'll hardly matter though.
I know. I am supposed to be dead. No, no such luck. I am older than sin, but somehow the only one left. Because of Billy. He takes care of me. He may think I'm his father. He certainly loves me, the poor idiot. Do you know what this symbol represents? It warns of a nanohazard. Microscopic machines. Technology we have had for decades but never mastered. Murkoff discovered in my research a workaround. Turning the cells in the human body into nanofactories. It's the natural function of cells to produce molecules, but through psychosomatic direction, we engineer the precise molecules necessary. Mind over body. It was foolish and wrong to think we could control it. To use madmen to make something so strong. You have to stop him to murder Billy. Turn off his life support, his anesthesia. You have to undo what I've done. No one can get out of this place while he lives. You must kill him.
So the wall rider will spawn off to the left, but just continue on. Do not stop and just follow as I do. Dip behind the desk here to get another document. There are 3 collectibles here. Record the engine itself to get one, get another by recording the chamber that Billy is in, and then get the third next to the hand scanner. I did forget it for the moment here, but I do return and get it later. It's probably a good idea to grab it now though, just in case you accidentally grab it later when trying to use the scanner whilst you're being chased. Another note here, don't forget it of course. Document in here. It's safe to jump over the railing here, you won't take damage. Here I remember the document that I missed just before. So now we're headed to the sublab generator to turn off the power to Billy's life support. There's about to be a lot of stairs. Take a moment to line yourself up for this jump. The worst thing you can do at this point is mess it up. Well, that and accidentally reloading your camera battery. Keep your night vision onto this part, this is the last time you'll need to use it. FYI, the wall rider is going to be right behind you, so don't stop for a second. It kills you in one hit on this difficulty. Not that that'd matter for my case, however. Climb up the railing here and grab the last document in the game. You should be able to make your way down this tunnel in the dark, but there's no harm at all in using night vision at this part of the game. The whole Energizer aspect of the walkthrough is over, unless you accidentally reload your camera battery, of course. Don't worry about messing up this jump here, the wall rider will always catch you and throw you down to the bottom, which results in unavoidable damage no matter how you play. You can jump over the railing here, but you'll take damage, so I don't do it for the purposes of the walkthrough. So after that, record Billy again, and that's the final collectible in the game. Assuming you haven't missed any, that's all 62. So here, I do a sort of showcase of all the notes and documents in the game. There's a timestamp in the description, just skip that if you're not interested. So as long as you don't accidentally hit the reload button, you should have all the achievements and or trophies in the game by the time you reach the credits. Of course, barring the claustrophobe achievement if you're playing the Xbox version of the game. Of course, if you're playing the PC or PlayStation versions, the Energizer aspect of the video will be irrelevant. Anyways, I hope you're able to find this walkthrough helpful or at least entertaining.
Himmel. You have become the host. Jesus God, what is that thing?